The video that everybody's been asking me for. Well, maybe not my neighbors. I've been running the Corsa Sport exhaust on my RPM heads cam C6 Z06 for about 7 years now, but I've been intrigued by the Xtreme's larger tips, lighter weight, and increased volume. I wanted to take you guys along for a comprehensive comparison to help you differentiate between the two systems. Cold starts, flybys, in-cabin, install. Let's get into it. Alright guys, this might be one of my last videos with the Corsa Sports on. I just wanted to show you the in-cabin volume or lack of. Cruising right now 50 miles an hour, 2000 RPM. There's no drone. I'm not yelling. It's very reasonable in the cabin. That's one of the reasons I love the Corsa systems. I do have the Corsa Xtreme I'm going to be installing shortly. I'm going to do a similar video for that. But don't really anticipate much more volume in the cabin. So this is a peek into the Corsa Xtreme muffler. As you can see, it's pretty much straight through to the tips where it splits at the end. As you can see on the left there is a chamber, which some of the exhaust will find its way into to take the edge off a little bit. But compared to the Corsa Sport, you can see there's a couple more chambers, so a little bit quieter. Quick little update, so far so good. I have one of the Corsa Sports off. One tip I'll give you guys, spend 20 bucks, Advanced Auto, buy one of these exhaust hanger grommet removers. It just makes it way easier than fighting with those with a pry bar. One thing too, switching to the Xtremes from the Sports, I don't have to cut the factory exhaust. Mine already is cut, so I'm going to leave the over axle pipes in place and basically just swap out these mufflers. But the Sports definitely feel a good bit heavier than the Xtremes. So I do want to see a weight difference between the two. I don't know how this is going to work, but we're going to try it. .1. .24.2 for the Xtremes. I got the Corsa Sports off. They definitely feel a bit heavier than the Xtremes, but let's weigh them and see. Oh yeah. 20.49. And here you can see the difference between the 4.5-inch Corsa Xtreme tips and the 4-inch Corsa Sports. Curious to see how these feel at the diffuser, but let's throw them on and see how it sounds. 2,000 RPMs, no drone, very manageable in the cabin. Lots of overrun and burbles. It sounds pretty freaking awesome. Here's some data for you guys to compare and contrast the two systems, which I take it with a grain of salt. I find that decibel readings are very easily manipulated by weather, temperature, proximity to the car. So this is the best that I could do. All right, guys, final verdict, Corsa Sport versus Corsa Xtreme on my Headscam C6 Z06. As I mentioned, the Sport were the first thing I did to the car when I bought it back in 2018. I've absolutely loved them. They get a ton of compliments. I think they sound awesome. And I've done plenty of road trips in the cabin. It's very livable, 2-3 hours at a time. But once Xtremes came out, I was really intrigued by the larger tips. I feel they fill the valance out a little bit better. They do sit a little bit lower, which I don't love, but that's really an OCD thing. I like the lighter weight. More volume's always a plus. I know my neighbors probably will disagree, but they'll have to get over it. So I think that's what I'm going to stick with for the time being, is the Xtremes. The Sport's kind of raspy throughout the RPM band. The Xtremes are a bit deeper sound, and it's honestly not a huge difference. Cold starts, idles, and just around town, but that over 4,000 RPM range, they really come into their own and scream, and I think they sound awesome. So that's what I'm going to stick with for the time being. Let me know below which one you prefer if you have any questions. If you're interested in the Corsa system for your car, I have a lot in stock. I'm going to put a discount code above to use from my website, and which is also in the bio. And subscribe for more. I'm going to hopefully do some 60 to 130 hits at the current setup. Ultimately, I'd love to get into the high 9s in the quarter mile, into the 5s, 60 to 130. Guys are doing it, C6Zs, with a little bit more modifications and seat time, so that's my goal. I'd be very happy with ported manifold, throttle body, maybe some flex fuel, and stay tuned for more. So appreciate you guys watching, and I'll catch you later.